Part 69. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 681. Rumble. From the sky above the eighth abyss, a blue divine punishment struck down, hitting the black-robed mage. After the violent explosion, the black-robed mage revealed his true appearance and turned out to be a female demon. The fifth demon god who was watching frowned slightly. Didn't this guy escape from the abyss of the strongest? Why did he get involved with Shura? And the real Shura is hiding in the shadows right now? After the first confrontation, Lucifer was not at a disadvantage. But that's all. This is the eighth abyss, both at level 999. Lucifer is naturally suppressed and his combat power will be weaker. Moreover, Poseidon has the entire abyss to back him up. Once the source of life begins to burn, Poseidon even had the chance to kill Lucifer on the spot. Lucifer is generally not willing to do this kind of thing, like running wild on other people's territory. What a loss. However, facing Shura, she had no room to refuse. From Lucifer's shadow, Shura's voice came. "Hi, how about you pay me less for this matter and just let it go?" The real Shura is hiding in Lucifer's shadow. In terms of go, Shura never disappoints. Never mind. Poseidon laughed angrily, held a trident, pointed at Yang-Er, and cursed. "Do you know what good thing this guy did to me?" Obviously. Yang-Er's sneak attack ruined one of Poseidon's plans, making him extremely angry. He even changed his previous good guy image and dared to confront Shura head-on. While the two were confronting each other, Yang-Er had already run behind Lucifer and whispered to Yebai. "Fourth Master, this guy wants to take refuge with the most powerful demon." While bringing the explosive news, Yang-Er quickly said, "Fortunately, Fourth Master has a clever plan and discovered his evil intentions earlier, so he sent me to kill him. Otherwise, the consequences would be disastrous. Yebai. Etc. It's a bit messy. Stroke it again. Poseidon wants to take refuge with the most powerful demon? When did Yebai send the second shadow to kill Poseidon?" It took half a minute for Yebai to finally digest the information. He didn't panic at all and responded calmly. "I guessed it right. You can really pretend. Anyway, Yebai, who avenged a personal grudge, and Yang-Er, who was top-notch understanding, successfully destroyed Poseidon's plan. The altar where Poseidon attempted to sacrifice to the most powerful demon was destroyed by Shadow 2. Moreover, it cannot be repaired within 10 or 8 years. It can be said that Poseidon's plan to seek refuge with the most powerful demon god completely failed. In this wave, Shura has made a great contribution. The reason why Poseidon is so tough is because he knows that after this matter is exposed, it is impossible for the human race to let him go. Poseidon originally planned to kill Yang-Er before Shura arrived. Unexpectedly, this guy still delayed me until now. What Yang-Er just said seemed like a summons, but in fact, everyone present heard it. Poseidon looked at Shura coldly and made no next move. Shura's voice came from the shadow. "Second Master, you may have read it wrong. I am familiar with Poseidon. The Demon Emperor's palace was built by the Pavilion of All Things, and there is no altar in it." After saying that, Shadow faced Poseidon again and said, "My second grandfather is young and has a bad mind. Tongyanwaji, you are a demon god, you wouldn't argue with the younger generation, right?" After saying a few words, Poseidon didn't react at all, but the fifth demon god looked on, finding it extremely interesting. "This little cultivator from your human race is a bit interesting." Shura's first sentence directly took Poseidon out of this matter. A light mistake instantly switched the situation between the two sides from a fight to the death to a situation where they could advance and retreat freely. Second Master Yang made a mistake, so Poseidon did not seek refuge with the most powerful demon. since he has not taken refuge in the most powerful demon god. The two sides still have a friendly and cooperative relationship, so there is no need to break up. As for the second sentence, it is a complete moral kidnapping. What do you care about with an 8-year-old child? Poseidon's expression was dark and uncertain, and he didn't answer. On the contrary, the bad woman whispered. Is fourth master so talkative today? Second master Ying replied in his heart. If we fight, there is probably a chance of death. Fourth master doesn't want to take the risk. From the perspective of the human race, this matter can be settled as soon as possible. Poseidon has no chance to fall to the most powerful demon god. That just shows that he is the best candidate for the 8th demon god at this stage. If someone else were to be the 8th demon god, there would still be a risk of joining the most powerful demon god. The demon god has been killed by the most powerful and turned into a rare and protected animal. Kill again. It will completely break the balance of strength between the two races, which will be detrimental to the human race. Even if Poseidon abandons cooperation with humans, the human race is not at a loss this time. On the contrary, Poseidon, if he wants to survive and go further, not falling out with the human race is the most beneficial choice. The wood has become a boat. I have a condition. Poseidon spoke, and countless turbulent waves rolled, representing his mood at the moment. Leave Ying Er to me. Poseidon gritted his teeth and said. I won't kill him for 10 years. After 10 years, I let him go. In other words, in order to appease his anger, Poseidon will torture the second master Ying for 10 years. Before Yabai could reply, second master Ying whispered. Fourth master, if I go, it will be considered a business trip. The bad woman added, there are also holidays, so that counts as overtime pay. In their opinion, there seems to be nothing bad if this matter is solved like this. 10 years is just a blink of an eye for the schizophrenic Ying Er Yi. As for torture, what means can Poseidon use to torture them? As a bloodline of the 5th demon god, he once had a cordial exchange with Nightmare. Every day of Ying Er Yi's life is torture. However, he is different from his father. Faced with the torment of nightmares, not only did second master Ying not suffer, he even enjoyed it. When mental illness has developed to his level, it is already considered to be in an advanced stage. In other words, in the eyes of second master Ying, the conditions offered by Poseidon are nothing more than paid leave. It sounds a little cautious. You are so obsessed with money. I teach you how I usually teach you. Yabai was furious. Who were these people? How could he have such embarrassing subordinates? Can't you learn from yourself? No need to discuss. Yabai's attitude was also very firm. This is my last condition, just tell me whether you agree or not. Yabai is using Ying Er. Laugh. Poseidon sneered and asked. What if I don't agree? You don't agree? From Lucifer's shadow, a black-robed mage stepped out. There are more and more people behind the black-robed mage. Lucifer, Gabriel, Cain, Dracula, the Wasteland Elf. The Eternal Nine Tribes ultra-luxury thug group has been officially launched. Standing in front of everyone, Yabai, who was holding the Heavenly King's sword, had a cold look in his eyes and said coldly. Then I can only ask you to die. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 682. Shura invites Poseidon to die. Second Master Ying rubbed his eyes to make sure he saw it correctly. This is a fake Shura. If you say he is Master Ju, Ying Er will believe it. When did Shura become independent? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Not only Ying Er Yi thinks so. Even the thugs behind Yabai, while pretending to be masters without speaking, exchanged glances with each other and communicated silently. Cain, old pig, if you follow the demon lord a little longer, what is going on? Dracula, you are an old pig. Your whole family is a pig. Wasteland elf envoy, stop scolding and say something nice. Dracula pondered for a moment and expressed a certain possibility with his eyes. Dracula, on this trip to the abyss, the demon lord is at risk of falling, otherwise he will be the first to lead the charge. Everyone nodded. Under the premise of 100% survival rate, Shura is indeed brave. After talking a lot of nonsense, Dracula's eyes revealed his guess. Dracula, maybe if you don't kill Poseidon, you risk falling. Hiss. What the old pig said makes sense. If this is the case, the logic of the whole thing will become clear at once. Only when faced with life-threatening danger. In fact, Dracula really guessed it right. The reminder in front of Yabai clearly told him. The 0.01% risk of death is the hidden danger left by not killing Poseidon. A 1 in 10,000 risk. Rounding it all off, isn't this a sure death? Poseidon wants to join the most powerful demon god, which has already exceeded the bottom line of the human race. If there is one, there must be two. This guy has a bone in the back of his head, and he will rebel sooner or later. Now think of it. From the moment he defected to the Eternal Temple, Poseidon was planning to defect to the most powerful demon god, leaving hidden dangers. The human race has indeed considered the situation and has corresponding means to counter it. I just didn't expect it. Poseidon can move so fast. In fact, the human race's countermeasures are very simple. They sent Sun Li to the abyss of the strongest. During this period, anyone involved with the most powerful demon god will be in bad luck. Poseidon's current experience is somewhat unlucky. If the second Master Ying hadn't made a mistake and ruined Poseidon's good deeds. From now on, at a critical moment, if Poseidon suddenly attacks, the human race may suffer a lot. The last time, the 7th and 8th demon gods took refuge with the most powerful demon god, and they had already bled the human race. The dispersed legion is still recovering at the rear. The dead soldiers sleep in Shadow Castle. This kind of thing cannot happen again. During the confrontation between Yabai and Poseidon, the situation outside the field changed subtly. A man surnamed Huo, with a frosty face and a fragrant breath, stood in the void holding down a chained prisoner. Looking at the two of them, the 5th demon god became interested. Isn't this Xiao Xiao Huang? Oh, I heard that Shura appointed Xiao Jia-san. It was none other than Prince Huang, Huo Tianyi. Obviously. Second Master Ying took the lead in passing the news back to the human race. The top leaders of the human race also responded promptly. As soon as Huo Tian escorted Prince Huang to the outside of the 8th abyss, it was a statement. Once Poseidon dies, the position of the 8th demon god becomes vacant. The human race is about to play the card of Prince Huang. But as soon as Huo Tian arrived near the battlefield, he did not enter immediately, but stopped far away. He looked towards the 8th abyss and said nothing. When a person with a bad mouth doesn't speak. There was only one reason for that, he was banned. Huo Tianyi knew very well that there was only one person who could speak on behalf of the human race on this battlefield. Shura. Of course, he had nothing to complain about. Shura once fought 3 times with Huo Tianyi. Shura won 3 games without even using his talent. The real results are there, it's hard not to accept them. Not long after Huo Tianyi arrived, a strong man carrying a bloody hammer rushed to the scene, stretched his neck, and shouted. Shura. My father asked me to bring a message. Afraid of misunderstanding, Xuemeng emphasized. Second father. Everyone. This guy really has a lot of fathers. Up to you. After saying that, Xuemeng left without looking back. As the top mobile combat force in the human race, he is very busy. There is no time to waste time here for a Poseidon. If Wilhen really wants to kill Poseidon, there is no need to draw the sword yourself, just ask Xuemeng to come over and hit him with a few more blows. Poseidon is very weak, basically the weakest being at level 999. Of course, there is no need to say more about who the target is. It can only be said that some existences have forced themselves to live like legends. When it comes to real fighting, Poseidon in his prime is not as strong as Lucifer in his prime. Xuemeng has the ability to deal with Poseidon. If the human race calls a few demon gods, they can find a way to deal with the sea god. Even, to say the least, Poseidon could live, further betray the interests of the abyss, and be completely ignored by the human race. There are many ways to go about this. But there can only be one person who can solve this matter, Shura. Huo Tianyi didn't speak, which was the attitude of the higher UPS of the human race. And Poseidon makes mistakes first and threats later. The focus of the whole thing fell on Shura alone. Between heaven and earth, only one word fell lightly. If the human race wants the demon god to live, the demon god will live. The words Xuemeng brought were even more meaningful. The strongest takes the lead. He also knows. After Xuemeng left, the scene fell into silence again. If Shura really wants to kill God, money cannot buy his life. It's not just a matter of trust. Kill. If humans want the demon to die, the demon will die. As for Xiaoao, only 1,000 days to be a thief, not 1,000 days to guard against a thief. This is also the attitude of the human race on the battlefield over the past 100 years. The huge waves at Poseidon's feet kept rolling, just like his mood at the moment. Since this matter happened in the abyss, Nightmare didn't care. Xiaoao doesn't care. It can be said. The most powerful men of the first 3 generations, any one of them, can defeat the invincible hand of all the abyss, from the first abyss to the 18th abyss in one breath, without blinking an eye. Yebai's slightly cold eyes fell on Poseidon. Even in the face of such emergencies, the key choices that determine the future destiny of the human race will be left in the hands of the strongest. Yingju is also easy to talk to. As long as Ying Er is not dead, Yingju doesn't care. At the same time, Wilhen asked Xuemeng to take the lead and let Shura handle it on his own. The young man's heart became more determined. Your own destiny, whether you live or die, all depends on Shura's thoughts. The strongest seed/strongest person has the highest level of command when appearing on the battlefield. At this point, it's useless to say anything. If there was no threat from the most powerful demon god. In the past 100 years, the human race has proven a simple truth. Even if there is even 1/10,000th hidden danger, Yebai is not willing to stay. The wind swayed slightly. The human race that could spare their hands would have cleaned up the abyss long ago. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 683. Kill. Some words, once spoken, are hard to take back. Before Shura opened his mouth, the entire 8th abyss began to boil. The desire to kill the demon god cannot be hidden. Poseidon knows that after today, the 8th demon god will continue to exist, but he is probably really going to die. Poseidon has only one way to survive. Kill Shura. As long as Shura can be killed, the most powerful demon will take action to protect him. The two sides have reached a life or death situation, with no room for buffering. Therefore, at the beginning of the battle, there was no prelude, and both sides showed their strongest fighting forms at the same time. The huge waves behind Poseidon are burning, and countless law chains emerge and collapse. There's nothing to say, just go for it. If you don't fight, you will die. And behind Yebai, the eternal group of thugs from the 5 clans is moving. On this day, the river of blood reappears in the abyss. Countless puppets burst out of the river of blood and charge forward regardless of the cost. Even if their self-destruction consumes a trace of the opponent's origin, the operator will not hesitate. The crispness of the attack and the viciousness of the methods are admirable. Cain, the forbidden prince of the Blood Clan, uses practical actions to tell the world what it means to be the forbidden prince among forbidden princes. A god, right? What I am fighting is a god. When Cain was at level 999, Poseidon had not yet been born. Beneath the long river of blood, a sea of blood descends. Dracula used Poseidon's law to fight against the eighth demon god and destroy its foundation. He betrayed the blood ancestor, and after careful consideration, made a decision to betray the Poseidon. He wants to be Poseidon. The collision, devouring, and consumption of laws, is the most terrifying thing. Competing with like-minded people, a battle of great ways. Dracula's offensive was not as smooth as Cain's. But in terms of damage, it is even better. After all, as we all know, harm from traitors is real harm. Outside the battlefield, the two-winged giant statue soars in the nine heavens. Every time Gabriel lands, the entire eighth abyss shakes. The sky is falling apart. Unlike the choices of Cain and others, Gabriel's attack avoided Poseidon and landed directly on the eighth abyss. What he attacked was the foundation of the eighth abyss. The former hurts the skin, the latter hurts the roots. If Gabriel is left alone, Poseidon will have no ability to continue fighting. He wanted to get rid of the two vampires and solve the thorny problem of Gabriel first. Now, the chosen demon reveals his deadly claws to the world. Black energy surged out, and demonic laws emerged, stopping Poseidon. No matter how many times Poseidon kills her, she can easily be revived and fight again. If her origin is immortal, she will be immortal. Lucifer, whose heart merges with the devil's origin, is the strongest Lucifer. Just the cooperation of these four beings is enough to make Poseidon miserable. Of these four, excluding Dracula, there are three remaining: Cain, Lucifer, and Gabriel. In a fight of the same level, he can easily crush Poseidon. They are originally the proud sons of the nine eternal tribes. No, they are the gods of the nine eternal tribes. If it hadn't fallen into the hands of Shura, everyone here would have become a giant in a famous town in ancient times. Only Shura bluntly polished off their edges. So, when Shura loosened the chains and let them show off their talents, they will prove why they have a place in the sheepfold. The rainbow shines through the sun. The longbow in the hand of the elf plays the music of death. After the arrowhead, a shadow followed furtively, trying to steal the chicken. Rumble. The black shadow was hit by Poseidon's halberd and cried wildly. The second master Ying, who had stolen the chicken but lost the rice, was grabbed by the collar by Shura and thrown out of the eighth abyss, landing next to Huo Tianyi. In the previous sneak attack on Poseidon, second master Ying spent too much and was seriously injured. Staying here is just a burden. And Poseidon's death is certain. Yabai also had to guard against a Poseidon dog that jumped over the wall and killed Ying Er, who was seriously injured, so the gain outweighed the loss. The entire eighth abyss was in chaos. This battlefield seems to be shrouded in the afterglow of the struggle for hegemony among all races. And under the glory of this ancient era, the only protagonist, the God Killer, is an ordinary black-robed mage holding a sword and shield. The golden Shura sea falls from the sky, the gate to hell opens, and the messenger from hell descends. Shura sends an invitation straight to death. Poseidon, let's make a fair deal. Finally, a thunderbolt that penetrated the abyss fell from the sky. Chaos thunder brought the most perfect ending to this god-slaying battle. The monsters of the abyss, no, the demon gods. Once again, he recalled the fear of being dominated by the most powerful seed. Nanjiang City. The sky is covered with thick clouds, and the sultry weather in June makes people restless. Even standing under the shade of a tree, you can break out in sweat. Jingle bell. The last exam of the college entrance examination has just ended. Thick students, like a colony of ants, walked out of the examination room, gathered in a stream, and walked out of the school gate. Their expressions varied, including excitement, frustration, and relief. These 18-year-old children greeted their familiar teachers and friends, their eyes full of hope and their mouth saying something. Everyone is talking about the same topic. Even many years later, when they recall this day, they may forget their feelings at the moment and the test questions they just asked. But they will never forget what happened on this day. A major event destined to be written into the history of mankind. Among the noisy crowd, a strong man stood out. 4 updates tomorrow. No one could have imagined that Shura, who had just passed the 40th level, could kill gods. Oh. The boy in black didn't seem very interested. He held his eyelids open and glanced at the phone. Let the old thief make up a lame excuse, there you have it. Today is Children's Day, I wish everyone a happy Children's Day. The amount of information contained in this short message is enough to make the whole world crazy. In these 100 days, Shura has brought many surprises to people, far exceeding everyone's expectations. After joining the summer camp, I followed the seniors for special training for a period of time. I didn't learn anything else, but I was the first to eat. But because everyone is talking about it? Zhao Lin pointed at the phone screen and said excitedly. Shura. It's Shura. Awesome. His words did not cause any ripples around him. What's wrong? Zhao Lin raised his hand and found Ye Bai among the crowd. That's the devil. In the almost fanatical crowd, the young man in black just smiled calmly, nodded and said perfunctorily. After today, the 4th generation of the most powerful seed of the human race, Shura. Level 599 Shura, kills the 8th demon. Zhao Lin almost yelling. While calling Ye Bai over, Zhao Lin held his cell phone and talked excitedly to those around him. Shura will also have another name. The strong man looked around and searched for a long time before he found his friend. Counting the days, it has been 100 days since this world. Frontline battle report, Shura broke into the 8th abyss alone and killed the 8th demon. This way. God Killer Shura. He is also 18 years old, and a few months ago he was as thin as a monkey. Oh. The boy in black looked a little pale, seemed to be injured, and was shaking a little when walking. The old thief went to celebrate Children's Day. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 684. Outside the college entrance examination room, the crowd was very lively. People are still talking about Shura's single-handed killing of the 8th demon god. Shura, the most powerful seed, was secretly working hard, and then surprised everyone. What a volume! Shura, the 4th generation's most powerful seed, used the demon god to give himself a perfect score within 100 days of his birth. No one can find anything wrong with it. Bye-bye, are you injured? Zhao Lin put down his phone and found that Ye Bai's face was particularly ugly. Ye Bai reluctantly explained. I ate something bad and I feel uncomfortable. Zhao Lin? If you eat something bad, shouldn't it mean your stomach is upset? Zhao Lin could only console him. Okay, eat more in a while and you'll feel better. Zhao Lin is an expert when it comes to eating. After the college entrance examination, according to the original celebration plan, dinner was naturally inevitable. On the way, Zhao Lin never forgot to care about Ye Bai. You were fine before my exam, why did you suddenly feel so hungry? Logically speaking, Ye Bai's strength is now at the level of a warrior. It is difficult for a strong person at this level to be injured by food. Ye Bai's appearance was very abnormal, no wonder Zhao Lin was surprised. Faced with the concern of friends, Ye Bai sighed and explained. The dead food suddenly started attacking me. By the way, you just finished the college entrance examination and need to eat something to replenish your energy. I brought some sea cucumbers. Ye Bai swore that every word he said was the truth and there was no lies. He is so honest, I cried to death. Zhao Lin was very confused. Does that thing really work? Have no idea. Ye Bai shook his head and explained. This I brought should be useful. Sea cucumbers from level 999 have been specially processed to greatly reduce their effectiveness. Ordinary people like Zhao Lin can also eat them. It's useless for the god of war, but it's just right for Zhao Lin. If it is not processed, just eating a small piece is enough to kill Zhao Lin suddenly. Certainly. The big head was still placed in Ye Bai's exclusive space. Poseidon's body, as Ye Bai's trophy, was thrown back into the exclusive space. After a brief celebration, everyone returned to normal life. The college entrance examination is just the end of a journey and the beginning of a new journey. All emotions will fade with the passage of time. Some people brew a jar of good wine, some brew a jar of old vinegar, and for others, the years are quiet and as plain as water. For Ye Bai, he has already entered university. It has nothing to do with him. Zhao Lin could never imagine the joy of being escorted. And with Zhao Lin's strength, if nothing else goes wrong, the top 10 universities are sure to win. I'm afraid Shanghai University is a bit stressful. After all, everyone knew that Shuro was at the Magic City University, and he rushed to the Magic City University. After a simple celebration, everyone went back to their homes to prepare for tonight's trip to the Eternal Tower. No matter which university they are admitted to, or whether they are admitted to university, their future path is still their own. The college entrance examination is an important exam, but it is not the only exam in life. And the pale Ye Bai could finally take off his disguise at this moment. Heartache, to the point where I can't breathe. Exclusive space. After returning from the battlefield of the 8th Abyss, all the thugs had a tacit understanding and went back to their homes without saying a word. Cain went directly into the sweatshop, not only supervising the work of the vampire elders, but even going into battle himself. It's rare to see people work so actively. Lucifer followed Gabriel to go fishing in the snowy fields. It was said that he only had to hand over 99% of his income, and the rest was his own. This ratio is already the most generous ratio in Shura's exclusive space. Moreover, these seafood can be sold at a good price in Dracula's hands. Dracula went even further and simply turned himself into a pig, hung him up in the Tianxia pavilion, and was put on display with Lilith. Let's rock together. The two pigs swayed in the wind. Lilith opened a bag of potato chips and threw them into the air. She used her blood energy to line up the potato chips in a line on her swinging path, and ate them in one go when she swung back. The city pig really knows how to play. Feeling the weird atmosphere in the air, Master Fool looked at the maid behind him and asked curiously. There was an accident. The wasteland elf hesitated for a moment, shook his head, and nodded again. She didn't dare to say. Everyone maintains a tacit understanding. Keep silent about what happened in the 8th Abyss, as if it never happened. It looked like something big had happened. The Fool Master inquired about the news through his own channels. Soon, she got a reply. After Shura single-handedly killed Poseidon in the 8th Abyss, he immediately supported Prince Huang as the new 8th demon god. Everything went smoothly, no accidents. Although the human race does not have the Tongtian war god dispatched. But there are always strong people patrolling nearby, and if an accident occurs, they can come to the field at any time to provide support. No problem. Master Fool looked at the information in his hand, then looked at the unusual people, and fell into deep thought. What went wrong? After a while, after thinking clearly about the cause and effect, She wanted to laugh but didn't dare to laugh, and felt uncomfortable. Master Fool waved his hand in front of Ye Bai's eyes and continued to fire. Master Fool took a closer look and saw that it read. "No way, are you stupid?" For a moment. "Xiaoxiu, if you encounter something unhappy, tell it to make everyone happy." In fact, Master Fool could tell at a glance that what Shura suffered was not a trauma. He still owes me so much money, how dare he die? How could he die? How dare he die? How did it get like this? Poseidon owes Shura 10 million God of War meritorious services, with a daily interest rate of 3.6%. The sky above the exclusive space echoed with Shura's roar. Shura shook so many people, but he still hid behind and punched hard. Shura let go of his right hand, and an IOU slowly fell to the ground. Something big is going on in this atmosphere. His face was pale and his eyes were reddish. He sat quietly under the money tree and said nothing. A layman looks at the excitement, an expert looks at the door. Money harm is the most real harm to Shura. As we all know. Could it be that Poseidon also secretly practiced the soul system? A few more hours passed before Shura returned to his own exclusive space. Only she dared to look at Shura's jokes at this time. This time, Shura is probably going to break through the defense again. Her expression became very rich. Master Fool, realizing that the funeral was not too big, rushed to the melon-eating scene and asked curiously. Shura looked like he had been severely injured. Ye Bai just sat there, speechless. Thinking of this, Master Fool actually had some expectations. Ye Bai's face showed sadness and he cursed angrily. Uncharacteristically, Shura did not bully Dracula, nor did he do other immoral things. According to Master Fool, killing Poseidon can only be done with full health with any powerful seed. And indeed it is. Just killing a Poseidon, what's the big deal? Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 685. How dare he die? A question mark appeared above Master Fool's head. Poseidon, weren't you the one who killed me? You killed Poseidon, and then asked the corpse, how dare you die? Please be a human being. The animals are not as beastly as you. Even if I already knew that Shura was not a human being. The idiot master still couldn't help but sigh, Shura is really not a human son. Sorry, God cannot be resurrected after death. Master Fool patted Shura on the head. Then, he walked away laughing. Call. Ye Bai took a long breath. Who can you tell your inner anguish to? The world can only see Shura's invincible posture of slaying Poseidon. Who knows what he paid silently behind the scenes for this invincibility? Xiaoda. Ye Bai stood up, walked outside Tianxia Pavilion, and patted the pig's head. You are talking about whether this debt should be inherited by Poseidon or the eighth demon god. Dracula? Poseidon is now dead. If nothing else, Dracula is a strong contender for the next Poseidon. I haven't become the god of sea yet, but I have to owe a lot of debt. This Poseidon is inappropriate. Dracula replied bravely. Why don't we all inherit? Shura's single-choice questions often become multiple-choice questions. Anyway, he is not the Poseidon yet. Besides, is there any difference between owing Shura 1 UN and owing 10 million God of War merit? Aren't they all dead? Dracula looked away. As long as you hand over all the money and sign a contract that you are destined to not be able to repay. This way the demon lord can't do anything to him. Ruined. It is the only way out for Shura's men. Listening to Dracula's suggestion, Ye Bai nodded slightly. Although it doesn't feel right to do this, since you insist, I'll do it. What a reluctant one. Dracula didn't expect that Shura would still be in trouble. As for Prince Huang, Ye Bai doesn't have to worry about it for the time being. Last time we brought Poseidon up, this time we brought Prince Huang up. There is no difference in the process, the humans are already very proficient in it. The key is, after Poseidon's troubles, an obvious signal was sent to the abyss demon gods. Don't get close to the abyss, you will become unlucky. The seventh and eighth demon gods defected and were forcefully suppressed by the humans before everyone could react. After all, the consequences of jumping over the wall in such a hurry are foreseeable. But Poseidon secretly took refuge with the most powerful demon god, thinking that he had done a perfect job, and he had indeed deceived many people. Who would have thought that he would encounter a person whose brain is not working well? Second Master Yang accidentally bumped into Poseidon, ruined Poseidon's good deeds, and managed to escape. As a result, Shura came to the door and raised an army to accuse him, and in a rage, he killed the Poseidon. From now on, any demon god who wants to take refuge with the most powerful demon god must consider it carefully. If you have this destiny, go and bear the bad luck. If you can't bear it, then be honest. Have to say. Sun Li slept in the hibernation cabin for so long that some beings forgot his terror. Now, Sun Li, who has returned with full blood, is alive and kicking in the abyss of the strongest. Another unlucky day. Soon, Ye Bai came out of the loss. Thinking on the bright side, although Poseidon is dead, isn't his body still there? Then, Ye Bai sadly discovered that this Poseidon was really poor. TNND, why would a demon be so poor? Listening to Shura's curses, the corners of Cain's mouth couldn't help but twitch. Why is Poseidon so poor? Don't you have any ideas in mind? Ye Bai thought about it over and over, but in the end he could only get millions of God of War merits from the body of Poseidon. As for the more than 100 million war god deeds Poseidon owes him, it's definitely not up yet. After getting it done, Ye Bai could only force himself to let go of the matter. It is impossible to understand the Dharma and resurrect the Poseidon. First, resurrection skills and effects do exist, but they are all high-end. Moreover, the stronger the resurrection target is, the more difficult it will be to revive it. For example, the resurrection of Lian Liankan and Xiao Xiao. According to Ye Bai's known information, this resurrection is a combination of nightmares dream comes true, Xiao's my heart is happy, and it took decades of planning to finally complete it. Lian Liankan made a lot of preparations to die. Without these preparations, it would be even more difficult to come back to life. To know, Lian Liankan is just a 9th level god of war. It was only after he was resurrected that he reached a higher level and became the god of war. Two powerful men joining forces can only resurrect a 9th level god of war. Ye Bai's desire to resurrect the Poseidon by himself was a bit of a fantasy. Not to mention, if Ye Bai really has the ability to resurrect a level 999 Poseidon, why doesn't he resurrect Xueju? Compared with Xueju, Poseidon is nothing but a hammer. The mind is full but the strength is not enough. Ye Bai could only put this matter aside temporarily. As for Poseidon's body, he didn't want to waste it and asked Cain to refine a god puppet. Such a puppet has extraordinary combat power and can be used to save lives at critical moments. The most important thing is that you can also make money by renting out. Just pay back a little interest when Poseidon dies. Putting his worries behind him, Ye Bai looked around and looked at the younger brothers who were fighting against him, and felt that he needed to show something. We are all comrades who have gone through life and death, and follow Ye Bai to kill Poseidon alone. If he could do this, Ye Bai would not show any sign of it. So is he still human? Ye Bai cleared his throat and said loudly. Well done everyone, keep up the good work next time. After saying that, he clapped his hands and continued walking. Lucifer? That's it? That's it? Everyone worked hard to help you kill Poseidon. When they come back, they should be rewarded based on their merits. You can just praise them and that's it? Be content. A white-skinned pig came over, picked up a puffer fish, and walk towards the Tianxia pavilion. You help the master fight, and the master confiscates your appearance fee, which is already very generous. Lucifer? The question marks on her head couldn't stop popping up. This is what Shura is like. The wasteland elf envoy is, after all, a subordinate of Master Fool, and he also speaks a bit harder. To take money from Shura, you can only take it before risking your life. After risking your life, the money will be his life. Lucifer fell silent. She didn't understand. Why does Shura get along with his subordinates like this? She didn't even understand why everyone took it for granted, and even some pigs enjoyed it. Hey, you'll get used to it after a while. Obviously. The wasteland elf expressed his understanding of Lucifer's incomprehension. If a normal person can directly keep up with Shura's rhythm, then there is something wrong. Lucifer frowned and asked. What if, you can't get used to it? Puff. Gabriel, who had been silent all this time, suddenly spoke and said his first sentence of the day. He hit the nail on the head and said. Then you have no choice but to die. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 686. In an exclusive space. Yabai was idle at this time. He was not in a hurry to grasp the origin of greed. This matter was too easy for him. Yabai has not yet finished digesting the content he absorbed last time. The most important thing is that according to Yabai's performance during this period, the origin of greed shows signs of continuing to evolve. Both sides need to give each other some time. Yabai is now level 599 and is about to face two major events, job transfer and talent awakening. Floor 41 is the secret realm of job transfer. If everything goes well, Yabai can complete his fifth awakening immediately after changing jobs. Yabai had already purchased the materials needed for job transfer through the Wanwu Pavilion. After reimbursing part of it and harvesting it from Poseidon, Yabai didn't spend much money. Regarding the fourth awakening, the attitude of the Eye of Insight is very clear. Ouch. Yabai couldn't help but be a little curious. What about the fifth awakening? Logically speaking, talent can be awakened 9 times. The Eye of Insight, which has awakened 9 times, also claims to be omniscient and omnipotent. It has always been regarded as a disgrace and a shame for SSS-level talents. Now I am about to awaken for the 4th time, so I have to brace myself. Actually, sometimes when I think about it, it's good to be content with what you have and awaken 4 times. Yeah, bye. Things have changed. Damien doesn't want to wake up 5 times. There must be something fishy in it. Yabai ignored Tanyan's reminder and went directly to the Fool Master. I've been putting up with you for a long time today. If you answer these questions, we'll be settled. Yabai asked Master Fool about the multiple awakenings of SSS level talents. Generally speaking, only the most powerful people from previous generations would know about this matter. The Fool Master rebels in every generation, and every version has her. It can give Yabai some help. After asking the Fool, Yabai had to go to the third brother to verify. Yabai asked politely in an implicit way, is there anything special about the fifth awakening? After hearing Shura's question, Master Fool asked. Aren't you preparing for the fourth awakening? Obviously, she knew something. Yabai's eyes lit up and he realized that he was asking the devil. Talk, quickly. Master Fool frowned slightly and pointed directly at the point when he opened his mouth. You know how talent comes from, right? Yabai nodded. He did. But he never expected that Master Fool would also know. Now that you know the origin of the talent, it will be much more convenient. The Fool Master continued. Your talent has 2 development directions. It can be completely integrated with you and digested by you, or it can be more anthropomorphic. In order to facilitate Ye Bai's understanding, Master Fool also gave an example. Crazy Huo didn't regret it after 9 deaths. Didn't he bring him out on the 95th floor? I see. The strengthening and awakening of talents are, in essence, the strengthening of eternal source fragments. Or, the user can completely absorb the fragments and completely make them their own. Or, the fragment of eternal origin super-evolves and finally becomes like Xiaoju. In a sense, Yingju is in a similar situation. It's just that he is a fusion of shadow and talent. When Master Fool said this, Ye Bai immediately understood. Danyan is scared. The fifth awakening is a hurdle. The initiative lies in Ye Bai's hands. If Ye Bai wanted to completely control the Eye of Insight, he would choose to eat alone. In that way, the few self-awareness of the insightful Eye will be ruthlessly obliterated. On the contrary, if Ye Bai decides to use his Eye of Insight, such a greedy Ye Bai would never let go. It is based on this judgment that only then did the Eye of Insight go out of his way and tell Ye Bai that the fifth awakening was not important. Don't wake up, just focus on leveling up. Wait until the 95th floor to decide the winner. Laugh. Ye Bai laughed out loud and shook his head helplessly. He has not yet decided how to choose this matter. Let's go back and ask the third brother for his opinion. If Ye Bai understood correctly, did the first 3 generations of the strongest all choose to absorb their own talents? Ye Bai also wrote down this question in his notebook and planned to consult his third brother together. Third brother's Q&A, I don't know where to click. Ye Bai knew about the fifth awakening. The most important thing for him right now is to change his profession, awaken for the 4th time, break through level 600, and have the combat power of a war king. As well as a question was placed in front of Ye Bai. Do you want to go to the void vortex? Ye Bai, who had just killed Poseidon, was inevitably a little swollen at this moment. He has proven with actual actions that no one below level 1000 can threaten him. What about level 1000? There is clearly a level 1000 existence in the void. If Ye Bai encounters these guys, even if Ye Bai loses, will he have a chance to survive? I feel bad. Of course, Ye Bai's chance of survival now is very low. That's why he wants to become stronger. After becoming stronger, Ye Bai began to consider shaking people. Let's get stronger first and then talk. Sure, survival rate, 45.79%. As long as Ying San digs the passage to the strong abyss and rescues Yingju and others. Ye Bai. Ye Bai frowned and adjusted the survival rate setting to the survival rate of strong human beings. But, coupled with the relationship behind the scenes, a 100% survival rate is normal. He didn't care whether the demon died or not. As for Lian Liangan, he is a real god of war, with powerful combat power and enough to protect himself. The human race's all-powerful war god cannot move. By then, Xiao Ao's battle with the most powerful demon god will be inevitable. Select the number of layers, 41. Arrive at 12 o'clock. Lian Liangan is a good choice. Boom. Ye Bai entered the Eternal Tower and summoned the Eternal Core Crystal. Time is getting tighter and tighter. A feeble voice sounded in his ears. Xuemeng didn't need to say more. Once the background was set, no one would dare to kill him. Ye Bai knew one thing very well. Ye Bai looked around and finally targeted the demon god. In this way, Ye Bai's luxury travel group has basically taken shape. But if you think about it carefully, Ye Bai can understand. The bell rings. It's me who's holding me back. Strong in combat, dare to fight, and dare to die. Ye Bai must hurry up before that and become as strong as possible. The matter of the void vortex must be put on a timetable. Although life has been quiet lately. The collective survival rate of the above candidates, 46.56%. Xuemeng, Try to trick me. Why don't you go out for a walk? He is the most powerful seed. He is the most handsome guy wherever he goes. He will definitely attract the most hatred and fight the fiercest monsters. Let the little Jia-san come with me. If we are not in our own abyss, the little Jia-san has no ability. There is also the undercover ninth demon god. Xuemeng, Lianliankan survival rate, 100%. I wish you can clear the Eternal Tower as soon as possible. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 687. Eternal Tower. The 41st floor. Job transfer secret realm. The secret realm on this level is very clever. You need to defeat monsters and win blessings from the angels. The more accumulated blessings, the better the reward will be at settlement. Obviously, the angel clan was responsible for building this floor. After knowing more about the inside story of the Eternal Tower, Yabai also summed up some rules. If a certain layer is of average quality or even watered down, there is nothing novel in the content, and it also reveals a weird aesthetic style. That was probably built by Cain's friends. Since this floor was built by the angel clan, Yabai simply pulled Gabriel and Lucifer out of the exclusive space. Lucifer is the most powerful seed of the angel race from the previous generation. Strictly speaking, she may have participated in the construction of the Eternal Tower, even participating as angels and demons. What's the point on this level? Yabai looked at the two of them. Gabriel shook his head, indicating that he didn't know. Although he is the most powerful seed. But he only rose up after the angels moved into the Eternal Tower. In terms of qualifications, there are too many shortcomings that cannot be made up for. This level was originally meant for the angels to become stronger. Lucifer explained. According to the original design plan, the origin mastered by the angel ancestor will be placed here, and blessings will be given according to the angel's qualifications. After explaining, Lucifer added. Now the origin is definitely gone. As for the ancestor of angels, he will either ascend to the upper world or merge with the most powerful demon god. For the most powerful people in ancient times, there were only these two choices. Gabriel nodded slightly. As the most powerful seed of the angel race, he has a special feeling for the ancestor of angels. The only thing Gabriel can be sure of is, it's just that the other person is still alive. Yabai immediately discovered the blind spot and asked. The origin of the angel ancestor? He put the origin here, what does he use for it? Lucifer shook his head. I don't know either. I can't guess what he is thinking. By now, Yabai has long figured out what is going on with the so-called 1000 level powerhouse. The threshold of level 990 is to merge with an origin. If you want to reach level 1000, you need to fully master the origin. The ancestor of angels was a very low-key and mysterious existence in ancient times. The angel clan has never participated in the struggle for hegemony among all races and has almost become a hermit. When the calamity of destruction comes, the angel clan quietly became one of the 9 eternal clans, occupying a position that is neither above nor below, and successfully sent Gabriel, the most powerful seed with great potential, into the Eternal Tower. Among the 9 eternal tribes that Yabai came into contact with, the angel tribe was already the most respectable. If we hadn't encountered the most powerful human seed, the werewolves were in pieces, the vampires were fighting among themselves, and the elves had disappeared. The demon clan was completely dead and wounded, and the desolate clan was hiding its head and tail. Only the angel clan, with the entire tribe preserved and Gabriel as Optimus Prime, the future is bright. If Gabriel hadn't encountered that sword. One thing to say. Although the bones of the angel race are very soft. But this was indeed done beautifully. Yabai quickly tasted the different flavors. He looked at Lucifer and asked cautiously. Wait a minute, you rebelled from the angel clan to the demon clan. Who instructed you? Logically speaking, Lucifer, the eldest prince of the angel clan, rebelled and became the eldest prince of the demon clan. There seemed to be no benefit. The demon clan is not stronger than the angel clan, and Lucifer has no chance to compete with the ancestor of the demons. He reached level 1000 and even offended the ancestor of the angels. Once the ancestor of angels is concerned about him, it is very easy for the most powerful person to kill Lucifer by force. Why do you do such a thankless thing? Lucifer was silent for a moment and said who was behind the scenes. The ancestor of angels. His. Yabai took a breath of cold air. After all, he still underestimated the heroes of the world. The depth of the eternal 9 clans far exceeds Yabai's imagination. The vampires appear to be in a sorry state, but in fact their skin and flesh have dissipated and their bones are intact. The elders of the 13 tribes were hung in the pavilion of all things. Cain, Dracula, and Lilith all survived the catastrophe. There is also a blood ancestor secretly who may be resurrected at any time. Once they make a comeback, the vampires will soon be able to regain their peak combat power. Although the werewolves are unbearable. But the White Wolf King has the potential and strength to reach level 1000. For the disorganized werewolf clan, this is enough. The races that survived in ancient times all firmly believe in one truth: as long as there is the strongest person, all problems will be no problem. As for the elves, the elf ancestor is now on the 49th floor, waiting for Yabai. Even the lower 3 tribes can still retain their strength after experiencing many drastic changes such as the catastrophe of world destruction and the powerful demon god. It doesn't seem to be a surprise that the ancestor of angels sent Lucifer to undercover the demon clan. Yabai asked further. Then what? If you go undercover, you have to do something, right? Lucifer was also very straightforward. Since he had confessed, there was no need to hesitate. She is now the chosen devil, following Shura, and her heart merges with the devil's origin. She wanted to walk the path of Shura to the end. The ancestor of angels gave me a very strange order. Lucifer explained. He asked me to persuade the ancestor of the devil not to be too greedy and just take my share. Don't be too greedy? After saying this sentence, it was like it was tailor-made for Yabai. Fortunately, Yabai is thin-skinned and doesn't care what others say. Yabai muttered. Take your share. He has seen the ancestor of demons before. It was already crazy. Obviously. The ancestor of demons did not listen to the advice of the ancestor of angels and chose greed. The ancestor of the previous generation of demons died of greed. This generation. Yabai didn't think too much. He knows the true meaning of the words of the ancestor of angels. Then, Eternal took out the eternal origin and persuaded the 9 eternal tribes to build the tower. The reward given is that after the deed is accomplished, all the strongest will share the eternal source equally. I don't know how it happened. Not only did everyone not share equally, but they broke their heads for the eternal origin. All the strongest ones merged together and frantically fought for the eternal origin, trying to eliminate other existences. And the demon ancestor is the one who was eliminated. By the way, there is one thing I forgot to tell you just now. Yabai pursed his lips, his eyes full of wariness, and said in a deep voice. The origins mastered by the ancestors of angels are still at this level. After he entered the 41st floor, the Eye of Insight gave corresponding prompts. His. Lucifer and Gabriel's expressions changed dramatically at the same time. I just feel my scalp is numb, so scary. The origin and the controller cannot be separated too far. Could it be that? Lucifer's throat trembled slightly and he said tremblingly. The ancestor of angels is still hiding on this level. 4th update, Happy Dragon Boat Festival. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 688. The ancestor of angels is still here? The three people present suddenly fell into silence. For Lucifer, this may be good news. After all, she went through life and death for the ancestor of angels, and she had no merit but hard work. Gabriel, as the appointed successor of the ancestor of angels. I can't say that my performance was poor, right? All I can say is it's a complete mess. Under Gabriel's decades of constant failure, the angel clan has no hope at all. Yabai looked at Gabriel and asked tentatively. How about sending you back first? Gabriel thought for a moment and rejected Yabai's proposal. No. After careful consideration, he came to a conclusion. The ancestor of the level 1000 angel is definitely not on the 41st level. In the past 100 years, 3 of the strongest seeds of the human race have broken through. If there really is such a terrifying existence, hiding it in the eternal tower, it will definitely not be hidden from him. Or, the ancestor of the angels is no longer at his peak and cannot maintain level 1000. Or, the only thing left here is the origin, which is nothing to worry about. In both cases, Gabriel had nothing to panic. Okay. The preparations were almost done, and Yabai looked around. Get ready to take action. Under the protection of 2 bodyguards, Yabai began his boring career. For Yabai, who has many experiences of killing gods alone, the monsters on the 41st floor naturally pose no threat. Even after being strengthened by the most powerful demon god, this is still the case. Soon, he used the autumn wind to sweep away the fallen leaves, sweeping away all the monsters on the first floor. The sky shook slightly, as if something was about to come. Blessed by origin. Lucifer was a little shocked. Was he really there? Soon, her surprise turned into an imperceptible smile. Gabriel, who was silent on the side, suddenly spoke. You are happy? No. Lucifer smiled slightly and said. I remember happy things. The source of the devil is in the hands of Shura, and the 2 parties are even very compatible. And demons and angels are mortal enemies. That is to say, the source of angels will be extremely repulsive to Shura. At this level, Shura may be able to obtain the highest level of exploration. But don't expect any extravagant blessings or rewards. Lucifer wanted to laugh when he thought of this. Her happiness for the rest of her life might be watching Shura suffer. Coming. Within the angel clan, the level of blessing is distinguished by color. Black is the weakest and white is the strongest. Other variegated colors are arranged in order. Lucifer looked at the blessing that was about to come, waiting for a black hand. Wow, white blessing. After acquisition, single basic attribute add 100%, upper limit 200,000. In front of Yabai's eyes, a white ball of light was suspended. The shock in Lucifer's eyes cannot be described in words. White? How could it be white? You know, even she has no confidence that she can obtain the highest level of blessing in the trial. Shura is a human being and still possesses the source of demons. How is this possible? Yabai looked like it was natural. He is a majestic Shura and gets the highest level of blessing. Is there any problem? No problem. In fact, Yabai didn't know why it was the highest level reward. But this does not prevent him from being confident. Only Gabriel, who had listened to the analysis of the Fool Master, knew something about it. The reason is simple. Shura is really greedy. He wants both the source of angels and the source of demons. Is there a problem? No problem. Lucifer's shock has not stopped yet. When Yabai received the angel's blessing, the entire 40-level monsters were refreshed. Soon, he cleared the 41st floor again. The new blessing is still the highest grade. It was the same 9 times before and after. The exploration level is full. Yabai killed the last monster and received the last angel's blessing. After obtaining it, The upper limit of blood volume at 100%, the upper limit is 10 million. After 9 blessings, Ye Bai's basic attributes were greatly improved. Is this the joy of changing jobs and entering the Battle King level? It is extremely difficult for a general war king to change his profession and receive 2 blessings. Blessed 9 times, they are always of the highest quality. In this matter, Ye Bai was completely satisfied. After all, Shura might be a little less successful in other things, but he is really good at brushing the Eternal Tower. Faced with Shura's achievements, Lucifer was numb. Even Gabriel was a little strange. This makes no sense. Even if Shura is greedy enough, this degree of compatibility is a bit too high. Even if the ancestor of angels comes, it will only have this effect, right? Could it be said that Shura is the reincarnation of the ancestor of angels? It doesn't seem impossible. Soon, Gabriel thought of another possibility and his eyes changed slightly. Shura once said in a low-key manner that he accidentally killed the ancestor of the devil alone. Many people took this incident as a joke and laughed it off. Few people seriously think about what this achievement represents. No matter what the process is, the person who killed the ancestor of demons with his own hands was Shura. In other words, based on this alone, Shura can be recognized by the source of angels. The next moment, a bright light came on. Is this available? The legendary source of angels is actually on this level. According to the pre-designed procedure, it should belong to the next generation of strongest seeds. Legends are legends, and after actually witnessing it with their own eyes, Lucifer and Gabriel were still in shock. At the same time, place the palm of your hand on the eternal core crystal to start settling the score. Take. After a few seconds, he made a decision. All Eternal Tower human races, there is a new announcement in their ears. This Origin first looked at Lucifer and then quickly abandoned her. Origin struggled in front of Gabriel. It's almost time to go. But soon, a strong suction force pulled it away. The big one is coming. Congratulations to player Shura for successfully retaking the 41st floor of the Eternal Tower. Gabriel's expression suddenly became wonderful. At the same time, as for how to deal with and coordinate it later, that is another matter. Finally, Gabriel, who possesses the source of angels, is the complete body and has the opportunity to reach the position of the strong. The sky on the 41st floor slowly opened, and a terrifying holy source appeared in front of everyone. Settlement in progress. The struggle didn't last long. If he doesn't want the things that come to his door for free, is he still Ashura? Ye Bai looked around and found that there was nothing to gain, so he was ready to leave. Congratulations to player Shura SSSS for clearing level 41. Gabriel is its best owner. If he guessed correctly, Ye Bai fell into deep thought. The source of angels slowly floated in front of Ye Bai, quiet and powerful. A chosen devil who is still fused with the devil's origin and exudes an aura that makes him disgusted. The source of the angel sank into Ye Bai's palm and was successfully controlled by him. Even if you take it back and sell it as scrap metal, it's still worth some money. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 689. Successful job transfer is a small matter. Ye Bai casually clicked on his properties panel and took a brief look. Eternal ID, Shura. Talent, Eye of Insight, SSS level. Level, 600. Occupation, Magician with the title of Wrath of Heaven, Thunder Fire Shadow, SSS level. Second profession, Shura title Magi Stir, Windwood Water, SSS level. Third occupation, Soul Research Expert, Soul System, SSS level. Title, Fire Thief. HP, 210 million/210 million. MP, 180 million/180 million. Strength, 1.085 million, add 1.128 million. Intelligence, 3.154 million, add 4.196 million. Spirit, 2.065 million, add 2.139 million. Agility, 1.098 million, add 1.157 million. Physique, 1.056 million, add 1.201 million. Luck, 17. Equipment, force of nature, SSS level, etc. Skills, Midas touch, etc. Status, origin of greed, etc. Yabai glanced at these things and passed by. In fact, with the improvement of strength, paper combat power becomes less and less important. Things with this kind of attribute are becoming less and less helpful to Yabai. The methods he relies on more are the mark of the strongest, the origin of greed, etc. Occasionally, I also rely on SSS level talents. The further you go, the more important the origin becomes. When Yabai releases Shurahai with all his strength, his combat power can be doubled. After level 600, there is no threshold for changing jobs until level 900. That is to say, Yabai can rush to level 899 in one breath, and his attributes are greatly improved. If he wants to reach level 900, the test is Yabai's mastery of the origin. In fact, for his own safety, Yabai should slow down his upgrade speed. The faster the upgrade, the most powerful demon god paid more and more attention to this little cutie like him. Today's Yabai, in front of the most powerful demon, looks like a cute person, one bite at a time, crunchy and crunchy. After closing the properties panel, Yabai returns to his own exclusive space. There were some things he cared about the ancestor of angels. In an exclusive space, there was a large round table covered with small benches, and 7 or 8 chopped watermelons were placed on the table. Yabai is eating melon so ritualistic now? The little golden pig greeted everyone. Why are you standing there? Come and eat melon. No matter what I can't do, I will be the first to eat melons. Everyone took their seats one after another, already very skilled. You all know about the ancestor of angels, right? Yabai didn't hide it, took out the angel's origin and placed it in front of everyone. You actually took it away. Master Fool was a little surprised. When she heard Lucifer say it, she actually didn't quite believe it. Can Shura take away the source of angels? Just him. No fool can believe it. Unfortunately, the facts are before our eyes. Master Fool ate melon seeds silently without interrupting. Everyone can speak freely and say whatever they want. The first one to speak was player Cain. He looked at Lucifer and asked a question he had wanted to ask a long time ago. Where is my true body? In order to hunt down Lilith, Cain fought all the way to the 40th floor. The real body was trapped on the 40th floor, and Cain was ruthless enough to transform into a spirit body and continue to chase down. Lucifer snorted coldly, tear it down. Which bastard asked you to tear up your vote? Cain was anxious. He is still counting on relying on his body to regain his strength. You said you were going to tear up the vote, so why don't you tear it up? If the real body returns to Cain's hands and he returns to his peak, it will not be a dream. There is even a chance to go further. To take a step back, Cain now has a better choice. Even if he doesn't want to be a real person, it's better to refine him into a puppet again. Lucifer actually gave him a vote? This is a huge waste. Lucifer turned his head away, ignoring the furious Cain. Anyway, Cain couldn't defeat her. Yabai also saw the clues. Lucifer and Lilith have a very good relationship. The reason for quarreling with Cain was entirely to vent her anger on Lilith. Seeing that the topic is about to develop in an irrelevant direction, Yabai interrupted everyone and brought the topic back. How is the relationship between the blood ancestor and the angel ancestor? It is now known that the ancestor of the angels has made many arrangements and even escaped death. As a powerful man of that era, the blood ancestor ended up in the most tragic way. There must be a hidden secret behind it. Facing Cain, Lucifer could be arrogant and domineering and not give Cain face. What a joke, a small lower three tribe, not even a blood ancestor, is worthy of barking like a dog. But in front of the Lord of Demons, she still had to restrain herself. Lucifer said honestly, "The relationship is very good. In human terms, we can be considered best friends." Hiss. That makes things even more interesting. The blood ancestor is actually best friends with the angel ancestor? Doesn't that mean that the blood ancestor has long known about the subsequent changes in the eternal tower? You know, the ancestor of angels could even ask Lucifer to send a message to the ancestor of demons, which shows that he had already guessed something. He is willing to help even his enemies, let alone his best friend? I have no idea. Lucifer shook his head and looked at Lilith. This little guy might know something. Lilith? She had the illusion that eating melons would affect her body. Cain suggested, how about trying to kill him? Maybe there will be a surprise. Cain is not willing to miss any opportunity to kill the shame of the vampire family. I'm surprising you, big-headed ghost. Yabai rolled his eyes and ignored Cain. If you dare to kill Lilith, not to mention blood ancestor, your eldest brother will come over to chat with you. Yabai really wanted to see the nightmare. But not this way, okay. Yabai is responsible for the quality of his sleep for the rest of his life. Feeling the pressure from the demon lord, Lilith raised the pig's trotter and explained. My sister never avoids me every time she discusses things. Yabai raised his eyebrows. Doesn't that mean that Lilith knows a lot of inside information? Lilith changed the topic. But the things they talk about are so boring, I fall asleep every time. Yabai. Lilith turned into a pig for a reason. Among the vampires Yabai knows, most would regard turning into a pig as the greatest shame. Only Lilith could accept everything with peace of mind and start to mess up. Everyone discussed it for a long time, but they couldn't come up with a reason. I thought of a possibility. Gabriel suddenly spoke and everyone fell silent. This old man is ruthless and doesn't talk much. Every time he speaks the truth and the amount of information explodes. Everyone looked at Gabriel and waited for what was to come. The last time I was on the 40th floor, when the upper realm passage opened, I felt strange. The other side seemed familiar. Gabriel paused and then said, the other end of the upper realm passage should be the ancestor of angels. Once again I wish everyone a healthy dragon boat festival. Next, you should all know what I am going to say. Open up. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjaya Old Thief. Chapter 690. Is the ancestor of angels behind the upper realm passage? Yabai didn't expect that it was this guy. When Gabriel said this, everyone was stunned at first and subconsciously wanted to refute, but soon felt it was reasonable. Someone really sneaked into the upper realm. For those who survived in ancient times, subconsciously, they still believe that eternity is a big lie. After the Eternal Tower was built, it really allowed the Eternal Nine clan to survive. But also destroyed all the strongest ones. The birth of the most powerful demon god is much more terrifying than the catastrophe of annihilation. After all, after the catastrophe of annihilation, there is still hope of survival. Once the most powerful demon breaks the seal and escapes from the Eternal Tower, all existence is doomed. The success of the angel ancestor has undoubtedly given everyone a shot in the arm. Escape to the upper realm is an alternative. On the previous 40 floors, Gabriel was thinking about this issue. He was never sure, so he didn't say it. It wasn't until he saw the source of angels on the 41st floor that he was sure. The ancestor of the angels probably really escaped. Very good, I know who owes me 50 million God of War merit. Yabai was very satisfied. He finally knew the identity of the resentful species, which would make it easier to collect them. Let's put aside the matter of the ancestor of angels for now. The upper world is too far away from us. Yabai changed the topic and asked. I'm going to the void vortex soon. Which of you will come with me? Void whirlpool. A question mark hung above everyone's heads at the same time. It's also a question mark. Dracula's posture is particularly distinctive. He raised his hands and said positively. I come. Don't worry about where you are going, just follow the demon lord first, you can eat meat. Starting from the 10th level, Dracula followed Shura. Although he went through torture, the bitterness was not enough for outsiders to understand. But Dracula reaped tangible benefits. His current strength has surpassed that of his previous life, going from one peak to another. Dracula in ancient times was originally just a small count. Later, due to some chance encounters, he became a marquis. After the blood ancestor made him the first male favorite, he naturally became a duke. This is already the pinnacle of eating soft rice. After following Shura, Dracula's appetite improved, he ate more iron, and he had a strong body. Now he has combat power comparable to that of a prince. You can even gesticulate with the forbidden Prince cane. Therefore, this time, Dracula takes the lead in the void maelstrom. The faster you go, the more you earn. It will kill people. Yabai's words made the surrounding air colder by several degrees. The void whirlpool is very dangerous. If you go there, there is a chance that you will die. He looked at Dracula and gave a number. The survival rate is 38.65%. Dracula? His hand hanging in the air suddenly froze. Is it so dangerous? The survival rate is less than 40%. Is it too late to regret it now? I only know so much information about the void vortex. Yabai took out a piece of information, put it on the table, and said seriously. Those who want to sign up should think carefully before making a decision. Before departure, I will help you check the survival rate once, so you can regret it. Risking your life this time is different from risking your life before. He is really going to die? Before. Yabai is risking his life with a 99.99% survival rate. If everyone burns their lives, they can get through it easily. The mortality rate in the void vortex is real death. As we all know, real death is the most real death. After explaining the specific matters to everyone, Yabaishu set a departure time and left his exclusive space. This time I went to the void vortex. You must be fully prepared, and the survival rate must be at least 97%. This is Yabai's bottom line. It can't go any lower. Therefore, he must shake more people. Yabai also made a special list. Xuemeng, Prince Huang, the 9th demon god, the 5th demon god, Lan Bangxian. As for how many people can be shaken, it depends on the situation. After Shura left, the exclusive space fell into silence. Gabriel didn't look at the list, turned around and left, returned to the ice field and started fishing. Lucifer read the information carefully, thoughtfully, and made up his mind. Cain made a special trip to the vampire sweatshop. When he left the sweatshop, all the clan elders were pale and lying on the ground, their bodies twitching and swaying. They have a common thought in their hearts: return to Wanwu Pavilion. Compared with here, Wanwu Pavilion is simply paradise. What happened to hanging up? What happened to regular blood draws? What happened here? Even the vampires said they were vampires after seeing it. Only Dracula, who expressed his stance at the beginning, had a gloomy expression. His survival rate is less than 40%. That is to say, he had to do something to go with Shura. Otherwise, you will die. Dracula can't die yet. After sitting there and pondering for a moment, Dracula made a decision that violated male morality. He wandered under the Tianxia pavilion and looked at the rotten piglet swinging in the air. After his face changed several times, Dracula spoke bitterly. Actually, there's something I've been hiding from you for a long time. My brother-in-law. She just laid out bad snacks and did nothing but eat and sleep. As he spoke, Dracula took out a certificate to prove his identity. Then, how do you want me to help you? Dracula puffed up his chest and said sincerely. Dracula said sincerely. It involved her sister. She asked tentatively. Look, it has my signature on it. Is there my sister's signature? I am your brother-in-law. Help me bring a message to the most powerful nightmare. Lilith also realized that this was not the time to leave things to chance. Even if you are my brother-in-law, are you in charge of the food? I couldn't do it without your help. Lilith. Lilith's limbs and trotters were struggling wildly, each with their own ideas. The whole pig was in pig brain overload. Lilith also couldn't figure out what use she could be used for. Impossible, absolutely impossible. Lilith obviously hasn't realized the seriousness of the matter yet. Lilith doesn't need to be in bad shape. And Dracula gritted his teeth and said word by word. A question mark appeared above Lilith's head again. I need you to do me a favor. Dracula. Your signature is of no use. What? Lilith began to deny wildly. In order to bring your sister back alive, I must go to the void vortex. Let's just say, the old duke who never sleeps has a nightmare. The process is not important. What you need to know is that I am the first male favorite canonized by blood ancestor. After a long time, Lilith, whose brain had cooled down, looked at Dracula and asked. The golden piggy fell directly from the air and fell on the grass to eat mud. When did I have a brother-in-law?